Hey guys, Captain Matt here with Captain's Quarters First Class, a podcast from the Lighting Trade School. Today we're going to talk about Christmas. I know everyone in the industry is gearing up for Christmas. I know a lot of new guys are trying to pop into Christmas, and the Facebook groups are all abuzz again. They've been quiet throughout the year, and now, as everyone's thinking, Christmas, they're all abuzz again. I'm going to say a few things just from the comments I've seen or the posts and the questions, and just talk a little bit about Christmas and how we all do things. One, I notice now that it's being, again, the buzz is creating. Well, when I'm recording this, it's September 3rd. So one of the issues is that you're focusing on the Christmas side of things starting in September or end of August. That is not how you catapult into the business to do a shit ton of revenue and profit. Right now, Christmas is great because it's super easy sales. It's almost every 80+% of America celebrates Christmas, so it's there in terms of it's easy. It's an easy sale. That's what so many people get into Christmas, and they think they're an amazing salesman when really they're just selling Christmas lights. I'm not taking that away. Obviously, it takes work and effort, but it's a much easier sale selling Christmas lights than a lot of other things, because while it is a luxury item, there's a built-in deadline, there's nostalgia, it's all wrapped into one, and people are used to spending a bunch of money. They have family coming over, there's parties, they want their kids to have memories, all of this jazz. They don't want to get hurt. It's all rolled into one. It's a super easy sale. But if you're just starting now to plan in September or even late August, the season, how you're going to attract new clients, how you're going to hire people, or what the schedule is going to be like, all of that. When you're just focusing in on now, you're setting yourself up for failure when you set a huge, huge goal, right? You should know what you're going to do now in September. You should already know, like during takedown season, you should be kind of plotting. It's all fresh in your mind. What went right? What went wrong? What, if you had a magic wand, what is the one thing or the three things you would have changed from the prior season that you would change next season? Whether you know how to change them or not, what is your biggest pain points, your biggest pinch points where we get to this one spot? I know for me, it was always manpower, right? We'd get to the 750 mark and we could never overcome that hurdle because I was focusing mainly on residential. I mean, I do have a good mix of commercial, but mainly residential. So it takes a lot of guys to get a lot of homes done. So that's the plateau I would hit, that pinch point, right? So, but you have to be honest with yourself. If you're not going to hit the numbers, you can't blame your area. You don't know my market. That's the biggest thing we see on the Facebook pages or anything is, well, yeah, I have to charge $4 a foot. You don't know my market. You don't know my market. It's like, oh my God, yes, everyone thinks the same thing when they start. I thought the same thing when I started. We all think we know this year market and that no one's going to pay for Christmas lighting or pay those prices for Christmas lighting. And the truth of the matter is there are people who are going to pay luxury pricing. But also the truth of the matter is a lot of you shouldn't be charging luxury pricing. You don't have a luxury business. You don't present yourself as someone that should be paid $2,000 to hang Christmas lights. You present yourself as a side hustler, as a painter doing lighting, as a power washer throwing up Christmas lights. Now you can do more than one thing. It's how you present yourself. And a lot of you present yourselves like you are the handyman who will put up Christmas lights. And you get mad at people when you get mad at clients when they don't understand that you're renting them product and they didn't understand that. That's your fault. We have to take responsibility. If clients are confused on something, that means we did not set the right expectation for the client. Now, of course, sometimes it happens no matter what, but you have to be willing to look at yourself and your processes and your business to find out what you could make better if you are getting a client that didn't understand it was a rental. I sell mine, so I don't have that problem, but that's a you thing. So if you look at that right when the season's fresh, over, you can say, why was this one person? Why was these three people? Why was whoever confused? Is there something I can put on my quotes, on my estimates, on what you leave behinds, whatever you're doing, is there something I can put on there to reinforce the fact that this is just a service and the lights are included during the service? They don't own them. That's one huge thing I see every year in the groups. People get divorced, people have people die, they just want their lights back, and people are on there just utterly pissed off at their clients for wanting their lights back. But you got to look at yourself and reflect on what you did wrong. And that goes on not just on the whole renting lights for the service thing, right? It goes well beyond that. It goes to scheduling and takedowns and installs and fix requests and all of that. So even though we're late now and it's September, this will get posted probably a week or two. There's still time to have, a great business in Christmas, a great, solid foundation. But you have to pull out from, instead of, it's not just, oh, I need more leads. I need more leads. I need more leads. Obviously we all need leads, but what do you do when you get those leads? Right? That is something you should have in place before you start spending a bunch of money on marketing. Before you go out putting 200 signs up in the roadways, what are you going to do when somebody calls? What do you do when someone says no? What information do you grab? How quickly do you call them back? Where does their information get stored? That is much more important than what should my yard sign say. Now, of course, that's important. I just saw someone post, put out 100 yard signs and I only got one call. And there's various comments of it's too early, et cetera, et cetera. Well, of course, yard signs in November do much better than yard signs in August. But it's not, I think too often we focus on, hey, how come this didn't work, in terms of, I saw other people doing it, but it didn't work for me. But you don't even know what else those people are doing. Are they putting yard signs in the rich neighborhoods, or are they putting yard signs in just super heavily trafficked neighborhoods? When a potential client does call, like if they got one lead from that yard sign and they close it, well, those 100 yard signs are worth it. But for me, for instance, when someone comes in, right, we have a script. It's a loose script, right? But we know everything that we're going to hit, right? We talk about our averages, pain points, the cool shit that we do. And we know, and we get all of their information before we go into qualifying, before we go on to continuing the conversation. We get their name, their address, their email, and their phone number. Super important. You want that information prior to the qualifying, prior to moving on, because I want that person on my list forever until they tell me to fuck off, right? Because someone that told you no today can have a totally different life next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, right? My no for now list is larger than my install list. And I'm always targeting the no for now list because it converts sometimes, right? It's worth the effort, because I'm sure if you examine your own life a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, you're probably in a different financial position, whether that's better or worse. Chances are you are not in the same exact position that you were 2 years ago, right? If that's the case, then you're not leveling up, you're not screwing up, you're just coasting by. And as an entrepreneur, I doubt that is the case, right? Like that's usually not in us to just coast by, but it happens for sure. So what do? You get that information so that you can target them and have a follow-up with them 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. You can call them, you can text them, and you can email them. So super important before you just go slamming everything into the ground and getting leads. What happens? I talked to so many people who don't have email addresses for anyone that called that said no. Even some that say yes, they don't have their email address for. So many people don't even have their full name. So just Joe at 25 Main Street. And that is, you can't be handling your client information like that and expecting to become a large Christmas light company or any company. There's no company in the world that's going to be able to treat client information like that and not get the details needed to even ask for referrals from people. So that goes into a lot of people right now. How do I get more leads right now? Well, I tell you, your marketing and branding plays a vital role, right? We get a ton of leads starting in July. We get leads all year, but July, it really starts picking up. August more, September even more, October even more. And that's from years and years, obviously, of, well, messing up and winning and learning, right? I'm still posting on Google My Business. I'm still posting on Instagram all year, right? We want to stay top of mind so that when they start thinking of these things, that they call out, they reach out, and they know who to reach out to, right? They're going to reach out to the Christmas guys in my area. That's who you reach out to when you want lighting here. So continually do that all year long, but there's got to be a whole plan. You can't just put yard signs out and expect miracles to happen. You can in November, right? You see a lot of guys posting about it, that they're great business owners because they, did 100,000 in Christmas on yard signs. Cool, bro. Like, I don't think that isn't a testament to much from guys who have been in the industry for Christmas, because we know what you can do in November, and how easy sales are. Now it's awesome if you can use that to then layer on, okay, that's my injection of cash, and now I'm going to do better next year. Sure. But you need a CRM for sure. So many guys do not have a CRM. My guys stuck at 100,000, 200,000, even 300,000 in revenue during Christmas, and they're wondering how. And then I talk to them and they don't have a CRM. Sure, they can look up each client individually, usually through Jobber, and they say Jobber's their CRM. But as far as I know, from everything I've seen, Jobber is not a CRM, right? Like a CRM, you can put in notes when they call in. And I know you can probably put notes in, but contact, like on mine, right? There's a next interaction date. So every time there's a last interaction and a next interaction date. So every time I talk to a client, I set the last interaction date as the day I'm talking to them. And then I set the next interaction date depending on what we talked about. Maybe they didn't answer. Well, next interaction day is going to be either tomorrow or 3 days from now. Maybe they said, hey, I don't know, it's not really for us. Can you reach back out next year? Okay, well, now I'm going to target them for early July of next year to follow up with them for Christmas. Right. So, but just setting that, and then I have, my dashboard that tells me these people need to be contacted today. These are the people you need to contact this week. These are the people that you missed connections, that you forgot to call, you forgot to email, whatever. Right. But the only reason I can do that is because it's set up. It's trackable. It's super easy. The setup's not super easy. Once it's set up and you can just see, oh, I have 12 people to call today. Oh, look, I have 7 new leads today. Oh, look, I forgot to call Joe back yesterday. Right. Once you set that up, that is a CRM. That is something you can work off of and really work your list. So right now, when you're trying to get more leads, I asked, have you contacted your old clients asking for referrals? Have you contacted your old clients asking for a review? Have you contacted your old clients for deposits? Have you contacted your old clients after they deposited to add on maybe a spritzer pathway, maybe some spritzers in a tree, maybe a wreath, maybe some garland? Are you always offering more? Because the hardest part of any sale is getting that person to open up their wallet. Once their wallet is open, that first sale, secondary sales are easier because they already theoretically know, like, and trust you. That's why you're coming back for a second, third, fourth, fifth year to do the Christmas lights. They trust you. They enjoyed your work. They want it again. So make sure you give all of those people the opportunity to give you more money. Give them the opportunity to spend more on Christmas and do a bigger display or add cool things that either you didn't know about when you pitched them or what they didn't know about was an option, right? Always be offering an upsell to every single person until they run out of electricity, which I only have one client that we would need to bring a new panel in. There's no more upsells, right? There's nothing else. So unless it's not lit, then obviously we can do. But so to contact your old list, contact people that told you no, people that told you yes, people that said maybe. You should be contacting all these people right now, in addition to your yard signs, in addition to mailers, in addition to Facebook posts and Google business posts and Instagram posts and all of that in conjunction. When you're focusing on a singular funnel for your leads, if there's a hiccup there, well, then there's a hiccup across your whole business. So multi-funnels coming in allows you to have a much more consistent lead flow rather than focusing on a single thing. But you need to get all their information for that contact, their email, their phone number, their full name, and their address. Don't talk to them until you get that. Like, your script can overcome. Sometimes people say, well, I don't give out my email. Oh, I don't give out my name. Well, you should know from your company's processes that you set what you do in that situation. Do you end the call? Do you tell them no thank you? Or do you have a nice reply that helps break down that wall and allows them to share that information with you? Because I know it happens. Because it happens to me often. Every year it happens where people don't want to give you their email or their phone number or their last name or sometimes even their address because they live in a nice neighborhood and you'll charge them more if you know their address. It's crazy. How am I going to give you a quote if I don't even know your address? Right. So I want you to really look at what is that line, that line for you. When someone comes in, what's the branch off? We have proposals, sending pictures, yeses and nos, install needed, maintenance needed, fixes needed, takedown needed. Right? If you are just running off a binder or jobber, it is super easy to forget people. I know because I used to work out of a 3-ring binder and paper. And I got the call in like April, like, hey, or it was actually a text message with a picture with lights on. Hey, man, loved the Christmas lights, not really loving the Easter lights. And I was like, oh, damn. I didn't even remember that we didn't take them down. I mean, and I found his little sheet of paper and realized I never marked him down for takedown. How do you manage that? Same thing with any system that's not set up to, for me, right? I can take everyone that was installed, hit, check all, and then move them to, takedown needed. So then I have a list that we can work off of who's been taken down and who hasn't. And when they're being done with takedown, we change their status from takedown needed to takedown complete. And they move to another group. So we know they're done. So we know at any given time, hey, we have 300 people left. Hey, we have 200 people left. Oh, shoot, man, we only have 19 people left. This is going great. Right? But these systems allow you to actually do what you need to do to hit those numbers that you see guys hitting. They're all trying to get to, right? The $1 million Christmas light company, $500,000. I want $100,000 in my pocket. All of that. There's so much more that goes on behind the scenes. That's why, like, so many times, like, I don't post pictures of my work, right? Especially in the Christmas light groups. And people do that because they're, they want the attention. Hey, look how good I did, blah, 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 blah. To me, I know that doesn't matter with especially with roof line lighting, right? It's every 15 inches or every 12 inches. It's super easy. I mean, there's a socket, there's a clip, and you push it into the roof. There's no thought behind it. What is the brag, right? Focus. If you took all that time instead of posting, trying, and going back and forth and arguing about what looks bad, because we all know you post a picture and the people that don't know, usually new guys, are going to tear it apart and just be stupid about it. And you get sucked into this drama. It takes a half hour to an hour of your life away. Get all worked up. Like, fuck all that, man. Imagine you spent that same hour reaching out to past clients that told you no, reaching out to your current clients asking for referrals, reaching out to your current clients asking for an upsell, right? So look at your time especially when guys are complaining they don't have leads or don't have work or they want more. You can usually say, well, let's look at your time. How are you spending your time when you're not out in the field? What are you doing? Because it's more than just yard signs. Yard signs work. Of course they do. Text messaging works. Of course it does. Facebook works. Of course it does. Google works. Of course it does. But they don't always work every single day, each one at the same time. So when you have multiple things happening, you have multiple lead sources that you can pull from. So keep track of what you're doing. Do you find you spend more time on the Facebook groups talking about Christmas than actually trying to get clients? You spend more time looking at other people's photos, being jealous, wondering how they did that branch wrap or how they pulled off that dormer, rather than call in the damn leads. I think there's a program called Call the Damn Leads, or maybe it's a book, whatever. But so often we can distract ourselves into these squirrel type moments where we're stuck on Instagram and Facebook, reading comments and looking at pictures on things, and even commenting ourselves, oh, I just wish I had more leads. You're literally doing an activity that does you no benefit, complaining that you don't have leads. But the activity that you're actively participating in for a good chunk of the day doesn't help you get leads, right? Do you have an email sequence set up for when people call you? You have a video you sent them? So a guy today said, client asking for a lookbook. What would you do? Well, what I do is I make a damn lookbook. It's really that simple. You should have a lookbook. digital and printed out. Super easy to do for Christmas, for any service that you do. I have it for, Christmas, landscape lighting, gemstones, permanent soffit lighting, right? It's something easy to do. And as you know, but I saw so many comments going back and forth. Oh, don't give them a lookbook. It creates confusion. Rich people just want to be told, what to do. They want suggestions, blah, 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 blah. It's just like, I see it was like 60 plus comments on this thing. It's like, it really only needs to be one comment. Make a damn lookbook, period. End of sentence. I mean, it's that simple, right? Anyone can do it. So, and we can go back and forth on, oh, are you giving them too many options? This is going to the whole restaurant thing, right? A restaurant with like a one-page menu, it's easier. There's not as much decisions to make. I can pick it out. Versus the restaurant with 10 pages and you're flipping it through, takes you longer to decide. A confused mind never buys. For my lookbook or what he was actually asking for the ideas, I already have that as an automation that happens when someone comes in after I talk to them the first time. They get a video that goes over the main items that we do. It talks about roof lines and ridge lines, branch wraps, candy cane wraps, spritzers, right? Wreaths, garland, decorated wreaths, decorated garland, amongst a few other things, right? So those are the normal bread and butter. But this does a couple things. One, it implants some new ideas they weren't thinking about. Maybe they never thought about their ridge lines. Maybe they never thought about branch wrapping trees. They definitely never thought about spritzers, right? So it plants in their mind after our first conversation all the different things that we can do. Now, again, it's not all the different things, but it's the main core things that we do that I know the vast majority of people love. I want to plant that seed in all of their minds over everything. So many people see that video and ask for something that they weren't originally calling about, right? Most people call for the roof line. It's the scariest thing to decorate. Right? But, oh, I didn't know we could do trees like that. Oh, I didn't know we could do a pathway like that. I didn't know we could put a big, nice decorated wreath above the garage. They just don't know because they don't do it every day. So it's not a confused mind never buys in this situation when you're literally showing them what you do. Now, I'm not saying send them a book from, Christmas designers that shows every single oversized fiberglass display. No, of course not. I'm not saying send them a Vickerman catalog with all the different ornament colors. Of course not. I'm not going to send them every color of C9 unless we get to the point where we're picking out colors. But even then, right? But you can let them know all the services you offer. I think that's a great idea and it works super well. Because if they don't know you don't do it, then they're not going to ask for it. And of course, they want your suggestions. Of course, they want your help. But the real honest answer is when people are saying, well, yeah, my rich clients are looking for professional opinions. Many of you don't have them. You haven't been doing it long enough. The only training you've done is training to learn how to do roof lines and branch wraps. And it's great. You haven't done a ton of thought process on what designs and weighting a property, how you can add color in with warm white, right? Well, at least we do know, obviously, Christmas is pretty self-explanatory in terms of you can put lights on anything. It's not like landscape lighting where you need a thought process. You don't really need a design for typical residential Christmases, right? You put some lights on the roof, put some lights in the tree, everyone's happy. So when you're giving suggestions, what does that look like? Like this person is asking for help for an influential client that called him. If this is his second year, how can he possibly help them with recommendations? Right? Because you get to a different level of, well, no, I don't want just my roof. I actually don't want my roof line done at all. Well, I don't want that tree done. And there's a reason, right? They want their property weighted correctly. So when someone drives by, it looks even and balanced. Right? If you haven't done that yet, you just don't know. So instead of roasting this guy, telling him to make the recommendations, the lookbook would be great for him. It's okay that the client knows what they want. This isn't outdoor lighting, landscape lighting design where they just don't know. Christmas lighting, everyone knows. Everyone grew up with Christmas lighting. Their parents were doing it. Their grandparents were doing it, right? Or if they weren't, they were jealous of the neighbors that were. So it is not like some big barrier to entry to get into Christmas decorating. And any person in any house can tell you exactly what they want and be happy with it. So we have to stop pretending like this is some huge barrier to entry and that some, you know, brilliant mind is needed to design a residential property for Christmas, because bottom line, it isn't needed. If you do the roof line and a couple trees, it's going to look great. They'll be happy and you'll make money. So anyways, I've been rambling on here for about 25 minutes talking about Christmas, and I know I've been off shooting here, off shooting there. Hopefully some of this kind of goes together. I just went off the rip talking about Christmas and the different things that I've seen posting in social media lately, and I thought I'd talk about them. Anyways, you can check me out, CaptainMattOutdoors.com. I do some mentoring to select individuals. You can apply there. I do it for all of outdoor lighting, landscape lighting, Christmas lighting, soffit lighting. I'm involved with it all, and I mentor on it all. So check that out, CaptainMattOutdoors.com. This has been Captain's Quarters First Class, a podcast from the Lighting Trade School. I'll talk to you guys later.